What is up, Drama Alert Nation? It's your host, PCSD students! Let's get right into the news!
It's been the talk of the town, the Parma City School District Consolidation Plan. This proposes the merging of all three high schools, the cutting of beneficial programs, and the layoff of our precious teachers and staff members. Today we talk about how all of this affects our human right to education.
What do we want? Student power! What do we want?
With our schools merged, our education won't be as good as school districts with money. Some students can only take classes such as CCP because of the district paying for them. They would be at an unfair disadvantage to students who actually can afford these classes on their own. Same goes for athletes who perhaps are relying on their sport to grant them a scholarship in order to get into college. If they cannot afford the pay to play, their education will be majorly affected in the long run. Students pursuing a career in the arts will definitely be cheated. If the arts are cut, it will be more difficult for them to achieve their goal. They deserve education on these arts so they have knowledge and experience when putting them to use. Now surely, since the school district has no money, they will need to make cuts, but they are cutting the wrong things.
The PCSD consolidation. Some say it's bad, some say it's even worse. What is your opinion? We interviewed some of our peers and one adult, and we found out their opinion.
What do you think of the PCSD consolidation proposals?
Well, that's a very tough and complicated question. I have personal views, I have professional views. I also have a view from being a taxpayer here. On a personal level, I think it's devastating for our students. I think it's devastating for my fellow workers. So on a personal level, if I was to answer you as not a teacher or not a resident, it's very rough and very hard. On a professional level, something has to be done. The Parma City school system is vastly different than it was when I went here. There were a lot more students, and it was the demographics were much different than they are now. So I understand on a professional level and a business standpoint, considerations have to be met, changes have to be met. There's always change. It's not good not to change. Change is needed in every aspect of life. So I understand that they need to make change. However, the proposals are just that. They're proposals. Also, as a taxpayer, it's very concerning to me that our school system relies so much on taxes, and I understand taxes go up, but when you spend money, as we have in the past, and push to pass these levies, and then we run into money problems again, as a taxpayer, it really concerns me. If this was any other business and we were having these kind of problems, there'd probably be different measures taken than they are now. And as a taxpayer and as a homeowner here, the closing of 3 schools really changes our cities. It changes the culture of our city. We have 3 different cities with 3 different public schools, and consolidating them all, and as a taxpayer, to me, you got to think about the damage it can do to our cities, the damage it can do to us as a homeowner, and also the future education, public education of our students. So that's 3 different views that I have to look at when I think of this.
I'm definitely against them. I know that I'm a senior, so the merging of the schools wouldn't really affect me. But I have a little sister who is a sophomore now, and she would be a junior. And it would just be very heartbreaking for me to have to know when I leave for college, she's going to be, not only am I doing a new thing, but she is too. And I kind of want her to have that stability in her life. I want her to graduate from her school with her friends. I don't want her to know only like a quarter of the kids in her class.
To me, I feel like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but if it has to be done because the school doesn't have money, it has to be done. I just feel like we kind of have to let it happen because it's what needs to be done. We're in debt.
I think it's an impractical plan that's not really the best and most optimal way, because You're not gonna, because you're gonna be fitting like 3,000 students in one building, which is just not practical in my opinion. And plus there'd be fights every day from like rival factions. So I don't think it's a good idea.
Do you believe that this interferes with any of our human rights, and if so, which rights?
Interfering, I mean, with education, I feel like it somewhat does, because it's going to put us in like an environment that we're not used to. I feel like it will, but to some extent. Like, I feel like it's not going to totally be like, oh, this is a complete, like, they're taking everything away from us. They're taking away what's necessary so like they can save money. I mean, they need to save this money. I feel like it does interfere, but I don't know.
I think it definitely infringes upon the kids' rights to choose where they go to school. They now, if the schools merge, they only have one option of where to go to high school. And that's for the whole district. And that's not really fair to the kids who live a while away, the kids who live in Seven Hills. The Parma High School is pretty far. So I think that kind of infringes upon their right to decide where they want to go to school. And so if they do merge, you know, you have those kids who don't, if they don't want to go to Parma, they have a limited option of where they want to go to. So I think it does infringe upon their right to choose where they want to get their education.
I wouldn't say it interferes on human rights, but it interferes slightly with our education, which is necessary in today's modern world. So to conclude, it only interferes with our education rights, which is important though.
The students are put in a position where they go to school at Normandy, they go to school at Valley Forge, and they go to school at Parma, and then all of a sudden you're being told that you're not going to go to the school of your choice. Maybe some people moved here so they could go to Normandy High School. Maybe some people moved so they could attend Parma. Maybe some people moved into Parma Heights to attend Valley Forge. So it might seem like your rights are being violated. In essence, these are choices that have to be made. And as far as a student goes, I don't think your input into it is possible at this point. Most of us aren't 18 years old. Most of us aren't voters. Most of us don't have that right yet. I think when you become 18, if you're a senior and you can vote, this is where you can put forth your voice in a reasonable way.
Lindsay and I both had the same opinions about about the consolidation for the Parma City schools. We both think that is not a good idea, considering everything that has to go into it.
We believe that our right to education is being infringed upon. We believe that if the schools are combined or merged, that our education will be affected badly.
If this were to happen, Lindsay and I both believe that our education would all go down the toilet, including taxes and everything that we do for the schools, extracurriculars, AP classes, and even sports. We believe that it is unfair for us to not be able to choose where we go to school. And we believe that this infringes our right and natural human rights for school.
Education.
For education. If this was put in place, us as students would have gigantic classes, and the one-on-one teacher-to-student help would not be fair. Also, there's 3 cities in Parma. That would be Seven Hills, Parma Heights, and all Parma going to one school. And that could be a really far drive for some kids that don't drive that would still have to go to Parma. And it would be unfair for the parents because they would have to make arrangements.
Overall, we will not have the same education. And education is a human right.
The walkout definitely showed how much the community and our district students and teachers care. It proves that we could come together and fight for our education rights.
We are now searching for new proposals.
What are you doing, Brooke?
Searching for new proposals.
What are you doing, Brooke?
Searching for new proposals.
What are you doing, Brooke?
Searching for new proposals.
What are you doing, Brooke?
Hopelessly searching for a new proposal.
What are you doing, Brooke?
Searching.
For new proposals.